Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to do some perspective, of course, but that perspective, it's going to be, instead of a landscape, an exterior shot, it's going to be an interior shot. So let's give this a shot. Ha ha ha. Okay, so let's do the back wall of our interior scene here. So back wall, just the top and the bottom. So there's the back wall. I'm still getting used to drawing art on a tablet here. It's not necessarily the exact same as paper, but we'll do our best. It's actually not so bad. Now here I've got the sort of back wall of my room. But what I want to do, and let's change this to just erase the, let's change it to erase. Can I change the settings of the eraser here? Yeah, there we go. I want to erase these strokes. Okay, so that's the back wall. Let's change this back to just a small eraser. Great. All right, cool. You're watching me learn. So this is the back wall, and even though this is an interior perspective shot, we still have a horizon line. And if you don't like calling it a horizon line, instead you can think of it as eye level. So let's say eye level is right in the middle of this room here. And let's also say that the vanishing point, let's let that be in the middle as well. So I have a horizon line. Let's get rid of the ruler for a sec. I've got a horizon line and I've got a vanishing point. So this is my horizon line, or again, horizon line, or you can think of it as eye level. By the way, if this is, super boring and you kind of get what a horizon line is and you don't need this review all the time, put the video on double speed or something so that you can skip to the part that might be more relevant to your personal learning. That's the beauty of these videos, is that you can always fast forward to the point that's useful to you, or you can always speed the video up to find when it will become useful to you. Okay, so and here I have the vanishing point. Great, so I'm just pointing those out. Now let's get rid of those pointers because we are going to start drawing more. So this is the back wall. And let's do the right wall, the top. We're going to do the, here, I'll show you. We're going to do the right wall, like so. So this is going to be the right wall. We're going to do the ceiling. So this is the ceiling. We're going to do the left wall right here, and we're going to do the floor right here. So I'll show you how to do that, but I just want to do it with a ruler first, just to make this a little bit more precise. Okay. I'm also just, this is kind of for selfish reasons too, because it gives me practice to be more precise with the drawing capabilities of OneNote. Okay, so here I want to draw the corner or the edge along which the right wall and the ceiling will meet. So you can do sort of dotted lines if you like, as guidelines until you actually get to this corner, in which case you want a solid line. So there you go. Here again, you can do guidelines up until you get to that corner if you want. These guidelines are definitely not necessary, but they might be helpful as guides for you. Okay, so let's rotate this. And we are going to do another guideline up to this corner. And solid line up here, great. And we are going to do another set of guidelines up to this corner until we go, actually, it doesn't fully line up with the corner. There we go. So we're going to do actual guidelines up to this corner and full guideline there. So I encourage you not to be as much of a perfectionist as I'm being here. It's actually kind of silly and bad modeling as an art teacher to show you this much sort of perfectionism, but But I guess, hey, that's my my own, hurdle to overcome in time. In time, I will be less of a perfectionist. Okay. So now I want to do the right edge of my right wall. And let's make that like so. So that's my right edge. I'll do the bottom edge of my floor. Let's actually make that a bit larger, because I really want to fill this page as much as I can. So let's make that a bit larger, actually. So there we go, a bit larger. It's okay to, correct yourself, erase something, change your mind. It's all part of the creative process. So here I've got the bottom of my floor. Where do those meet? They kind of meet right here. And here I've got the left face of that left wall here. Not the left face, rather the left edge. And here I've got the top edge of the front of the ceiling. So this is the part of the ceiling that's closest to the viewer, closest to the observer, or whatever you want to call it. There you go. Okay, so here's my room so far. There's maybe a little bit of a sense of depth here. Of course, you can clean these lines a little bit just to make it look a bit nicer, to give yourself a better idea of, the shape of what you're drawing. Let's get rid of the eraser, actually. There we go. Okay, so now what you can do is you can start to draw objects in this room. So the first object I want to draw is just going to be a plain old box. We are not getting too crazy yet. So let's draw a plain old box. And I want to draw the bottom right edge of that box. If it's the bottom right edge, then that's going to be a depth line. So I'm going to draw a depth line here. And I want to be careful here. I don't want to make this depth line go past, I don't want to make it go past this back bottom edge here. If I do that, and maybe I draw a box that looks, something like this. So if I draw a box that looks something like this, then we can clearly see that that's not really realistic, because it looks like the bottom right edge of that box goes through that back wall, and we don't want that. So let's do a better job there. I just want to point out that, that's something that you want to avoid. Okay, so I've got that bottom right edge. It doesn't go through the wall. Good. Goes to the vanishing point, though, which is, again, good. Now I've got that back right edge, that back right vertical edge. Now I've got that back top edge. It's just horizontal. Remember, this is just 1 point perspective, so vertical lines stay vertical, horizontal lines stay horizontal. And let's do another horizontal edge here. So here's another horizontal edge. Great. And then let's do the rest of our vertical edges here. And another vertical edge at this corner. And the last of our horizontal edges. Whoops. Well, and another thing we might want to take into account here is we want this corner to line up with the vanishing point, so we'll have to make this edge just a little bit taller here. There we go. Okay, and then horizontal. And then, again, we're going to want this to go to the vanishing point, so it'll look something like that. Okay, so there's your box in your room in perspective. Let's do a small eraser here. And then we'll sort of clean these lines up a little bit. Just a little bit. And, well, we should actually clean these lines up too, because these lines are going to be blocked or obscured by the volume of this box here. So we won't be able to see them. They'll be invisible. They'll be blocked. All right, there we go. There we go. So I got a box in a room, big deal. Okay, so let's do another box. But this box, I want the back of this box to meet the back edge of the floor here, where the back wall meets the floor. So let's do that. So I want it to meet the back edge. So I'll connect that to the vanishing point. There we go. And then I'll want this front bottom edge to meet the right corner of the room. So this box is going to be really just nestled up in that corner. How tall is it going to be? Well, let's figure this out. How tall should you be? You'll be this tall. You'll be above eye level, so we'll get some nice perspective there as well. Let's do some vertical lines here. Vertical lines. Let's do, oh, I also want a vertical line for this bottom left front corner here. There we go. And let's do our vanishing points connections here. So actually, what am I doing? This will have to be a horizontal line connecting. Yes, we all get lost from time to time. This will be a horizontal line here, and it will have to connect with this line. And then here is where we have the vanishing point. This top left corner here. I wish I could stop that keyboard from popping up. Maybe one day I'll figure it out. Okay. Oh, can I not move? There we go. I already feel old. I can't really deal with modern technology anymore. There we go. Okay, so there, my box, it's pretty big. It's a big box in this room. And I'm erasing all of the lines that would be that you won't be able to see. Your vision of these lines will be blocked by the fact they will be blocked by this block. They will be blocked by the fact that this block obscures your vision. It blocks your vision of these lines. Maybe that's why they call them blocks, eh? All right, so here is a big block. Great. Another thing that you can draw in here, if you're tired of blocks, is something that also looks like a block, and it's a door. So let's draw a door. The bottom of the door will meet the bottom left edge of this room here. And the door's left and right edges will meet according to the angle determined by this vanishing point. So they will meet like so. That was actually a decent estimate. There we go. So I've got my door, but I want to make the door look more door-like, right? And from this particular perspective, we would likely be able to see the underside of that doorway and the right side of that doorway as well. And actually the bottom, right? Maybe the I don't know if you call that a landing or not, but maybe you would call it the landing or something. So I want to be able to see all those features. So let's draw in those features, right? And we'll have to listen to the vanishing point here. What will the vanishing point tell us? Well, it'll tell us that this should be the angle that we see the top side of that door with. And this right side, well, you know what? That's not going to be governed by the vanishing point. That's just a vertical line. So here we have a vertical line. draw that in. And this, I'm calling it a landing. I'm not sure exactly if that's correct. I am no builder, that is for sure. I am definitely not good with tools. Okay. Power tools. Anyways, it would be dangerous for me to handle those, 100%. Okay, so these two corners will be connected. So I'll just connect those two corners sort of at that angle. There we go. And these two corners will be connected as well. So let's connect those. I will just get rid of that and that. So let's connect those. Let's experiment with some shading, actually. So maybe the light is somewhere at the top of the room, and it is, you know, emitting light in all these directions. Well, it's very likely that this light won't really be able to access this top part of the doorway. So let's add in some shading here. So we're experimenting with shading. Hey, look at that. This is our first rendering. There we go. So there's some shading there with the top part of that door. And I might actually want to make this corner, hey, look at me being nitpicky again. You might want to actually make this angle a little bit more like so. There we go. I think I just made it worse. All part of the adventure. Okay. So we've got a doorway as well. Cool. And now we can actually erase this horizon line. I don't know why I kept it this long. Really what we need to keep is this vanishing point. You can always keep the horizon line for as long as you like for reference if you need that. But what we could do is we could make something out of these boxes. So for example, maybe I want to put a clock on this box. How much sense does that make? Not too much sense. But maybe this box tells time. Or maybe this box, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. Maybe this box tells time. Maybe this box has a poster on it. Hey, how about that? So you can start to fill in these forms with, you know, more specific things. Maybe it's got writing on it, I don't know. Or maybe this big box is one of those old-timey computers that really takes up a full room, right? So maybe it's got wires that come out the back, right? Here's a wire coming out the back. Maybe it connects to this box. There we go. And maybe it has another wire that comes out of the back as well, connects to the back here. And maybe another wire that comes out the back here. So maybe this is all part of like some big experiment in Silicon Valley to, you know, create a new powerful AI that will take over the world. Maybe there's another wire over here, and it connects over here, like so. So really, you can turn this into anything that you like as soon as you get the basic forms right? So the most important parts of this is that you create this back wall to start. So create the back wall to start. Some horizon line at which point in the center, you can draw a vanishing point if you want to be in the middle of the room. You can skew it to the right if you are positioned differently in the room. You can skew it to the left if you are positioned differently in the room. You can have your eye level be higher. You can have your eye level be lower. You can experiment with that. But the important part is you have your back wall. That's the first part of your construction. According to wherever your vanishing point is, then you can draw these lines, right? You can draw these lines according to wherever your vanishing point was, these lines that come out. These will have the most effect on your perspective. And then you can draw sort of the edges. You can draw the edges of your field of view. Right? And then you can just start to draw objects, right? And these don't need to be complicated objects. These can be basic forms, right? They can be basic, you know, rectangular prisms, and maybe you want to make something out of those rectangular prisms, right? You could turn them into whatever kinds of objects that you like. For me, rectangular prisms seem to work really, really well to represent really those old-timey boxy computers, but you could turn them into anything that you like, right? So you could turn these boxes into like, this particular box could be a dresser drawer, or if you have a box located right here, and maybe you make it shorter and longer, right? Maybe you make this box shorter and longer, and it's going towards that vanishing point. Maybe you could make a bed, right? And somebody is sleeping in the bed. So whatever you like, you can do whatever you like with these interior scenes. You can also make it so that this appears to be more of a long hallway, right? So if, I'll just do a quick sketch here. So maybe this is a long hallway with lines that really come out far, right? So maybe this is a really long hallway. And maybe you can have, maybe you can have torches. Maybe you can have torches along the hallway, and then you can start playing with light, right? You can make this more of a castle feel, whatever you like. But what I want you to do is, with this perspective sketch number 5, what I want you to do is something like this, some sort of interior scene. It can't be a landscape. So for your 5th perspective sketch, draw something inside. And that really takes us to the end of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you put it on super speed if I was going too slow. And happy drawing.